I like that case.
Season 3, Episode 4 of Lucille and Kid Cole has to be the angriest Neve has ever been, and I'm living for it. For this episode, they begin in Philly. That is where Lucille lives, and she is who we are helping in this episode. It's not necessarily a romantic catfish, which is I think a first for the videos that we've covered, but more of a brother-sister type of relationship that she has with a producer named Kid Cole. He claimed to be the youngest music producer signed to Kanye West's label, Good Music, and that is what drew her in.
You really think he's working with Kanye West?
So you don't know squat, man.
She says she reached out to him, but she did not think that she would ever hear back from him since he's technically a celebrity.
Lord have mercy.
But eventually, she did get a call from someone with a slight British accent named Miguel, who said that he was Kid's manager, and said that Kid wanted her to be a special guest at his upcoming birthday party, and the guests for the party were meant to be
Robin Thicke, Pharrell, Kanye West, and Jaden Smith.
Basically all the big names in the R&B black stratosphere celebrity world. Miguel then asked her to help with something for one day, and that eventually turned into her helping for 2 weeks. She was told that if she helped, then she would get paid $1,000, and that she would then work for Kanye's record label as an executive assistant to Kid Cole. She set up appearances, concerts, and hotel rooms, the whole 9 yards. She even hired a driver and a security team for him while he was in Washington. And the security team bill was over $13,000, and the driver's bill was over $8,000. And everyone is now sending her their invoices. So as soon as she tried to send those invoices to Miguel, he disappeared. So no one has been paid.
This man truly disgusts me.
She wants the show to help her figure out who Kid Cole actually is and help everyone get paid because she feels really bad. Neve and Max then search Kid Cole.
Look, he's on the MTV Artist website.
Which makes him seem a little bit more legitimate. For now anyways. The next day they head over to Lucille's house, and it looks a lot like Hundra's, to be completely honest. She then tells them that the job prospect was really exciting for her because she's struggling financially at the moment. Her job is not paying her a lot, and her starting salary at this position was,
I think I had settled on like $70,000.
$70,000 is the base. It could have easily gone up from there, especially because she was a hard worker and clearly was good at what she did as she coordinated all of this in a very short time.
I felt my ship had came in.
She inquired to other people about what happened, and they told her that it wasn't technically criminal, which seems crazy to me because it does give criminal. It's technically a civil case, so she would have to take him to court, which she does not have the time or the money for. But our good sis, okay, she was super smart and she kept all of the receipts.
I know that's right!
She found him at the end of 2012, listened to some of his beats on SoundCloud. She then reached out to him on Twitter, and they talked for months in the DMs, like months. She was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and the DMs just didn't end. The phone number she has for him and for Miguel both have a DC area code. While Cole was in DC, she acted as the contact person, and this was essentially her test to see how she would handle a job at the label if she was hired. So she did everything that she could, including sending Cole money in the middle of the night and also being an emotional support to him when he was experiencing emotional turmoil, which was often.
It was always, everybody just wants to be with me because I have money. I'll be better off dead.
Oh. All right.
When he was done with all the appearances that she set up for him, he gave the driver and the security company a fake contract.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
These people now know that they've been scammed, but it looks like she was a part of the scam when in reality she also got scammed. Then this man had the audacity to contact her the same month they filmed this episode, asking for her credit card information because apparently, allegedly, he was about to do an interview with CNN and the transportation company needed a credit card because his declined. If you are a mega recording artist and you are signed to Kanye West's music label, you would have a work credit card. You would have people taking care of this stuff for you. You wouldn't be asking random bitches you met over the internet for their credit cards to use as transportation. And also, if CNN wants you to do an appearance and an interview, then they would help comp that. The things are not adding up. Things are not adding up at all. So Neve and Max, they get to investigating. They go back to the MTV website and they actually contact Allison, who is an MTV music supervisor, and they ask how someone can get on the MTV artist website, and she says it's easy.
Anyone can build a band page.
Which is kind of crazy. It's really crazy to think about. Like, it's MTV's show, right? And this catfish used MTV as a way to make his catfishing seem more legitimate. Insane. But Allison does say that she has never heard of an artist named Kid Cole, and she has friends at Good Music, so she's gonna ask about Kid Cole and she'll get back to them as soon as she can. So they then get to the rest of their investigation. They Google his name, they find his music, and they run it through a search, and they find out that the music is not even his. He's basically stealing other people's music and then putting it up on SoundCloud as if it were his own.
Man, boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. I'm throwing tomato.
They then look up Miguel's number, and it is assigned to a person named Stone Cold Jerez. They then look up Kid Cole's number, and would you guess it, it's also assigned to someone named
Again,
Jerez.
Jerez Coleman is Kid Cole's government name. So obviously all these people are the same person, right? And then they search Jerez Coleman on Facebook, and a page comes up that says Kid Cole Scam Artist. He's a scam artist who has scammed many people in the DC area as recently as a couple days before they filmed this part of the episode, which is actually insane to me. And every single story followed the same MO. Contacted someone, they Googled him, made it seem legitimate because he has all these online networks that make him seem like he is legitimate. So then they work with him, they do all this stuff for him, they pay for everything for him, and then he ghosts them.
What's your sentence for her?
Electric chair.
So they contact Loretta, who actually wrote on the scam page, and she messages them back, and she says that she would love to tell her story, but she's a little bit hesitant to trust them because of everything that happened with Kid Cole. Neve and Max then decide that it's best if they head to DC and do some on-the-ground investigation and speak to Loretta in person. They go back to Lucille to tell her what they know. They fill her in on basically everything that they found, everything I just told you, and they tell her like he's not a legitimate artist. And she says
I'm speechless right now.
They then tell her that Miguel, Kid Cole, and Jerez are all the same person. They then show her the Facebook scam page. She said that she is livid.
I'm shaking right now. Because you just don't do this to honest, hardworking people.
So they decide that altogether they're about to drive to DC because it's not very far from Philly. They get a call from Allison while they're on the way.
You spoke to someone at Good Music?
Yes, they have never heard of Kid Cole.
He's just a big imposter, which is not shocking at this point. So the next morning they meet and speak to Loretta, and she brought the itinerary and the contract that she was given by Kid Cole. She says that he scammed her and her company out of almost $8 grand.
No ma'am. No ma'am.
I feel like if someone took $8 grand from me, I don't know. I can't even say what I would do because maybe one day this could be used against me. But I wouldn't be as nice as these people. Let me just say that. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Loretta is a limo driver, and so she decides to drive around the three and tell them the story. At the time that she got the request, she said it seemed legitimate.
He had like events in DC where he was with Kanye West and Jaden Smith.
So they decided to work with him. As soon as they picked him up though, the shenanigans began. They went to eat, and he couldn't afford to pay the bill. His manager then called them the next day and said that Kid Cole was robbed, so he didn't have access to any of his money, which I would have been like, okay, so let's go to a bank and let's cancel all of your cards and get you all new cards. Let's do that. But I guess if you're working with someone who says that they're connected to big wigs like Kanye West, then you wouldn't really be thinking about it. You're just going to want to do your best so that they continue to work with you, right? The same thing that Lucille kind of did. So basically, Miguel, or Kid Cole, called and was giving an excuse as to why they had to foot the bill for everything and insinuating that they would be paid back at the end of his little tour. When Loretta realized that she had not been paid and she probably was not going to be paid because she hadn't heard back from Kid Cole, she went to the house that she dropped him off at. And it was actually his grandmother who was there and who she spoke to, and she told Miss Loretta,
They've been staying with me for 2 months. I think they're homeless.
Now this is a very difficult situation to be in, and I definitely feel for anybody who is unhoused and is dealing with housing insecurity, but that doesn't give you an excuse to scam these people out of thousands of dollars. And this is the thing, it's not even like you're scamming them out of thousands of dollars to like better your life. It's just an ego thing, because limo drivers, security, what do you need a limo driver or security for if you are a nobody?
Mind your own business.
No shade to Kid Cole, but all shade to Kid Cole. So Loretta actually had a paralegal friend search him up, and big shocker, this man has an arrest record for fraud, and he actually had an upcoming court date.
Oh, they're going to prison. They're going to prison.
She told Neve and Max that she may never get a dime out of him, but she told him,
And I'm gonna haunt you like a ghost. You can call me spooky.
and she's gonna let everyone know who he really is, and I love that for her. That would be me. and other things, but we'll keep those other things a secret. They're just between you and I. If you know, you know.
The girls that get it, and the girls that don't.
So later that night, Neve calls Mr. Cole. He picks up and Neve is like, hey, I'm with the MTV show Catfish. We've heard a lot about the famous Kid Cole. We're sitting here with Lucille, and it's a very awkward conversation. It's very clear that Kid Cole doesn't know what's going on, but he heard MTV, he heard cameras, he heard show, he heard filming, so he's rolling with the punches.
You stupid.
Because me, if I knew that I had scammed someone out of thousands of dollars, I'm not wanting to talk to you. I'm hanging up as soon as we get on the phone. But she says that she wants to meet him. He says he also wants to meet her, and that Catfish is going to facilitate the whole thing. And he's like, yes, let's do it, idiot. So he confirms that he is in DC, and Neve basically makes it seem like he's a fan, like Max is a fan, like the show. We're just a bunch of big fans of Kid Cole, and they want to meet him for that reason and that reason alone. And this guy is dumb enough to believe it. So enthusiastically, Kid Cole says that he will text them later with an address and a time where they can meet tomorrow. So the next morning, he does as promised. He texts them with a time and a location to meet. And Max, in the car on the way over, says,
I can't believe Kid Cole has actually agreed to meet us.
And Neve says he only agreed to meet because they made it seem like they're fans of him and he has a big giant ego. He didn't say that last part, but I think that last part was insinuated. So they pull up to the spot and immediately they see him because he's literally the only one out there.
There he is. Oh yeah, there he is.
I don't know where exactly he took them, but it seems like nobody goes there. He sees Lucille, she sees him, they hug, and she tries to keep it nonchalant because she doesn't want to scare him off, but she asks about his upcoming work, and he's like, yeah.
Right now I have a place with Wale.
And I'm working with Wu-Tang.
No.
Sir? No, you're not. We know you're not. So then Max is like,
Have you seen our show ever?
and he says no. I just feel like this man is an idiot. Because you didn't even search the show. You weren't even like, hey, like maybe let me figure out what this is before I go on it. Because you literally just agreed to be on TV to expose yourself. So then they move on to talk about his SoundCloud, and they let him know that they're aware that he's stealing music, that he's a big old thief. And he says that that's not true. All his songs are copyrighted and he has legal documents to prove it. And he has powerful people all around him. This man just likes to talk. He just likes to yap those lips and say nothing of meaning. It's annoying. Lucille then speaks and is asking about Miguel, and this rude ass man has the audacity to whip out his phone and start scrolling and looking at it super close to his face. And later we find out that he had it super close to his face because he wasn't wearing his glasses. He wanted to seem cuter than he actually is, but I don't know, he was a musty dusty rat to me.
That's my opinion!
He's scrolling on his phone instead of listening and paying attention to what Lucille has to say. It's giving disrespect. And it's giving misogyny because when Neve and Max were talking, they had his undivided attention. He doesn't even acknowledge or answer her questions or even make it clear that he's listening, because he's not. So there's like a little bit of silence after she asks a question and he doesn't even acknowledge her. And you can see like Neve and Max are getting visibly upset. So then Neve comes in. He's like, oh my God, I love that case.
I like that case. Can I see that?
Then he's like acting like, oh, can I see the case? And throws the phone in the water, bitch.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
And Kid Cole is like, why did you do that? And Neva's like, because you're playing people hard. And Dress is like, okay, so you didn't have to throw my phone. And Neva's like,
You can go get it if you want, but
I feel like Neve back in the day was such a menace, and now that it's him and Cammy, it's really letting me see that they are Team Menace. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Max was great, but I think the duo of Neve and Cammy, it's untouchable because they're both just unhinged. And it's funny because now Cammy is the one who's a little bit more unhinged, and Neve tries to like reel her in sometimes, but most of the time they just they just let them have it, and I like that. But honestly, the scream I let out the first time I saw this episode, and Neve literally just threw the phone in the water, and then the shot of the camera zooming in on the puddle that the phone made as it sunk to the bottom. 10 out of 10. I feel like that alone deserves an Oscar. And then Jerez like steps up to Neve, and Neve is like, yeah, it must suck to lose something that's so important to you. Just rubbing salt and the vinegar and everything that burns in that wound, and I love it. But also it did kind of make me feel bad because it was revealed to them that he's homeless, right? That he's struggling financially. If you are going through a financial struggle and someone just pops your phone in the water, it is going to be really stressful and it is going to be really irritating. But at the same time, I understand why Neve did it. And then Max tells Kid Cole, like,
We'll get you a new phone.
relax, it's not that big of a deal. Because they got that MTV money, honey. Neve is being so nice and nasty, and he's like smiling while taking those digs and rubbing the salt and the vinegar and all the things that burn in the wound, to the point where a producer steps in. It looks like Neve, low-key, like he's ready to swing. Like he's had enough of this guy. So Max like pushes him back, and then a producer steps in and is like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, like we will get you a new phone, and just keeps apologizing on Neve's behalf. But Neve's not sorry.
I know that's right.
So Kid Cole then keeps repeating how irritating that was, and he doesn't understand why he had to throw his phone. It's like, oh my god, we're just gonna shift the focus onto Neve and we're not gonna talk about your scamming ass. Okay, all right, we're not gonna talk about your upcoming fraud case. All right. So Neve and Max then go walk off with the producer to the side, and Neve apologizes to the producer and is like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, like that's the worst thing I could have done, I just lost my patience. Kid Cole then says,
Okay. All right. These cameras, man.
And continues to deny everything that he did while Lucille is trying to confront him while it's just the two of them. He admits to nothing. And again, he's not really focused on her, he's just focused on the fact that his phone is now swimming with the fishes. I think if there's fishes at the bottom of that body of water, because I don't know exactly what it is or where they were. He then says that he is a very private person and he doesn't want to reveal anything. He's irritated and it's a wrap for today because Neve threw his phone. Then when Neve and Max come back, he says,
I don't really like to do all this talking.
He has a session tomorrow and they should go. It'll shut them up. And Max is like,
Great.
Like, obviously we don't believe you, sir. We know you're just a big fat liar, phony fraud. So the next day, Cole gives them an address and says that he is so excited to show them what he's been working on, which is a big pile of nothing. So in the car on the way there, they agree to just take it easy, just try and get answers while Max sound hounds the music in the back to see if it is really Kid Cole's. And I was like, wow, I guess I'm still kind of like young and fresh because I've never heard of Soundhound ever in my life. So they walk in and Kid Cole says that yesterday they all just got off on the wrong foot. And he says that where they're at right now is one of his producer friend Hattie's place, and Hattie is there as well. Kid then plays some of his music and Max is like sound hounding it in the back. Max right away figures out that it's someone else's music and they call him out on it. Neve says that since they're in the studio, he wants to record a rap. He wants to lay a little something down. So he heads into the booth and surprisingly, so shockingly, nothing is working.
I can sort of hear it in my headphones.
Okay,
Alright,
we
cool.
can't hear you though.
Neither Hattie nor Cole know what they're doing. So while in the booth, Neve says that these two knuckleheads are trying to get the mic to record shortly before the Dumbo duo feign technical difficulties and say they just can't do it today. Hattie then literally sprints out the room. Goes so fast. And says that he's in a very awkward position because all they can do is play the beat. So Hattie then admits to Max that he's not an engineer and he has only known Kid Cole for about a month, and Kid Cole actually reached out to him the night before and asked if he knew a studio that they could record the show at. Hattie then says that he has absolutely no idea if Cole is the real deal. He admits he's never seen him work, he's only been shown pre-made music.
So every time like he came with something, it was already
made.
That's all been stolen.
And
The group then heads into the living room and Max reveals what Hattie told him. Lucille then says that she needs answers, and Cole acts like he's irritated. And it's like, why are you irritated, sir? You did this. You did this. He said that he just wants a break and he wants the opportunity to show people because he knows what he's doing and he's really good at what he does.
This girl is delusional.
And he was like, but you don't have any real music, so how could you be good at what you do?
All I know is that the songs that you played are other people's songs. We know it's not your stuff. If you had real music to show us, you would have showed it to us. You don't.
Kid Cole then says that the show is trying to humiliate him, and in unison, Max and Neve say,
No, you've humiliated yourself.
Which period he has been.
Let the church say amen.
He says that Neve has been disrespectful this whole time, and I personally think that Neve has given him more respect than he deserved, but that's just me. Cole then says that he's not going to allow them to disrespect his talent because he's actually talented. I feel like people who are actually talented do not have to say that they're actually talented because the talent speaks for itself. A producer of the show then says, let's take a break because once again, Neve is getting heated. I feel like Neve wanted to just swing on this guy so many times and the producers were like, that's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing. So they keep removing him. Kid Cole speaks to Max and says that he doesn't have time to steal anybody's stuff, and he can't stand the fact that he's being disrespected. He just keeps reiterating this, and this just lets me know that he doesn't actually care about anything that he's done to anybody. He just cares about himself, cares about the fact that he feels disrespected, and he cares about the fact that people are perceiving him to be talentless. It gives immaturity for sure. If I'd scam people out of thousands of dollars, I'm not going to be worried about my talent. I'm going to be worried about how I could pay these people back, or how I could get out the country so I don't have to pay these people back. But he's worried about the wrong things. Max then says that they just want to understand why he's doing this, and Max is trying to reason with him, right? He's like, I can understand doing it once, but you've done it 3 times that we know of. And Kid Cole says that he
3 times. Like the haters shut the hell up.
Be fucking for real. Be fucking for real.
people who doubted him and his talent. He just wanted to seem like a big shot. So you did all of this to make it seem like you are at a place in life that you actually aren't, instead of working to get to that place in life. If that is not the most moronic thing I have ever freaking heard. He says that he just wanted to get connected to the right people by lying about the people that he was already connected to. 2 and 2 is making 8 in this situation because it is not making sense, and even Max ate him up. So Neve then comes back after he's calmed down, and he asks, what drives you to do this? And then we get the first moment of honesty and transparency from Cole, I think, that we've gotten this whole episode. And he says that when he was 16, he was living in a shelter. The director of the shelter then put him into foster care and asked him what he wanted to do. So he said he wanted to be a music producer. So the social worker laughed in his face.
You can't make music. It didn't take me seriously. I really got pissed off.
And so basically he's doing all of this from a wounded 16-year-old boy's place of that social worker telling him that he's never going to be a successful music producer. So he's trying to flex as if he is a successful music producer instead of working on producing music and working on gaining actual success. This made me feel for him a little bit because I do understand, that's fucked up. That's super fucked up. And I feel like adults have this way of ruining kids' dreams and trying to get them to be realistic, when in reality all you're doing is hurting their imagination and hurting their passions. If he really cares about making music and that's where his passion lies, then they should have been encouraging that. Something that would have been practical and allowed him to thrive in all areas, rather than just shooting him down and making fun of him and mocking him, because that is really messed up to do. But at the same time, it doesn't justify scamming people out of thousands of dollars of their own actual hard-earned money and services because you want to feel like a hot shot, you want to feel like a big shot, you want to feel like you're rubbing it in the face of those people who wronged you. So Lucille then says that this is not the way that you make a name for yourself.
That you have to do the work. You just can't get it overnight like that.
She said if no one can trust you, then they're not going to work with you or respect you. Max then says that he is too smart to be doing what he's doing and he shouldn't keep making these bad decisions. And I agree, because if you're smart enough to scam all of these people, then you should be smart enough to actually get to that place in your real life for your real self.
Shut up, bitch! Shut the fuck up!
Kid Cole then says that he's going to correct his mistakes and work on them. And Neve says that he looks forward to seeing the changes, and Max tells him,
just be careful.
Knowing that he's not actually going to work on changing anything. So then we get a 2-month follow-up. Lucille is working and back in school, and she says that her experience with Kid Cole made her reconsider her passions, and she is now studying criminal justice. Girl. But she also says that meeting Kid Cole let her know that her big heart can be both a blessing and a curse. She said that the last time she checked up on Mr. Cole, he was online saying that he is the co-producer of Beyonce's Drunken Love.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This man is really delusional. And again, instead of working hard, he's just going to lie. But that's not going to get him anywhere. Because imagine he actually gets into the spaces with these people and he says, yeah, I'm the co-producer of Beyonce's Drunken Love. I was signed to Kanye's record label. And they just hit up Beyonce or Kanye, hit up the people who produce their albums or work with them closely. And they're like, we've never heard of this kid. Then you've lost everything and now you're labeled as a liar and a biter because you're taking recognition for things that you did not do. Cole actually, big surprise, shockingly, he refused to participate in a follow-up interview, but at the time that they filmed this, he was advertising online that he is about to be performing in and around LA over the summer, and he has not paid anyone back.
Today drained me.
This episode, honestly, it sounds so bad, but I feel like every episode that I go back and watch with Neve and Max, I feel like it makes me appreciate Cammy that much more.
Let the church say amen.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for everyone who recommended that I watch this mess of an episode and review it for y'all. As per usual, I would love to hear your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions down in the comments below. Let's discuss, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings and opinions. If there's a specific episode that you would like me to cover next, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. I did say that in my last Catfish video that I was going to do Antoine and Tony next, and you know, that's still coming. I just feel like I had to do this one first because, I don't know, Neve gave what really needed to be given here. I love the fact that he threw the phone in the water. But again, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, make sure to ring that bell notification so you get a notification every single time I upload, and I will see you in the next video.